Welcome, everybody. I'm Cindy Myers, and my website is yourenergyhealer.com. And uh, tonight's webinar is Animals and Emotions, and we're going to be talking about the weather and how the weather can impact our pets with all the crazy weather everybody's been having across the country. I thought that was an appropriate topic for tonight. So, with that, we'll get ourselves going. Uh, so in case, just a little disclaimer, in case of an emergency, please call your veterinarian. But I do understand that these days it's sometimes difficult to get an appointment right away. So if you need energy support for your pet, please let me know. I don't diagnose, but what I can do is provide that energy support, boost their chakras and clear trapped emotions for them, and try and help keep them calm, keep their energy flowing, uh, which can buy you some time while you're waiting for that vet appointment. And it also can work alongside your vet in, again, keeping your pet's energy flowing. Just get rid of those trapped emotions that can block their natural healing abilities. So that's some of the things I can do for your pet. And the other thing that I do want to mention is that if you have an aggressive animal, then I do insist that you work with a certified trainer. It's just not enough to just clear trapped emotions. We need to help modify the behavior as well as clear the trapped emotions. So, and I'm not an animal trainer, and you really need somebody in person to work alongside you with that. So I do insist that you work with a certified trainer if you have an aggressive animal. All right. A little bit about me with, we're talking about weather. I have a farm, an alpaca farm, and so we get to deal a lot with weather. Um, for all the animals, have to think about what what it can do, and I have quite a bit of my herd is getting quite elderly, so weather is more of a concern. They do have their built-in sweaters, but at this time of year, but they do get more chilly, so I have to be mindful of that, and the energy work can assist them. Um, and animal communication can help too to know who's a little more creaky, at this time with the damper weather and the older animals, they have more arthritis, and so I am try to be in tune and alert for animals that might be feeling the discomfort of this damper, colder weather, and doing more energy work on them. So I too have to use these tools that we will be talking about for my animals. So, so how can the weather impact our pets and their emotions? Well, I can tell you firsthand, just in some of the storms we've had recently where it got really windy. I have a golden retriever who is petrified of extreme weather where there's a lot of wind, and if there's thunder, oh, that she quake in her boots. She gets really, really frightened. She paces, she pants, she has all sorts of issues, really gets frightened. And so a lot of the tools that I will be sharing with you, and tips on what you can do for your pet is exactly what done with her. And actually she's taught me helped me add to my toolkit of different things that can help her through those frightening moments. So sometimes we can't just be nice if I could clear the trapped emotions, and they never were afraid of weather ever again. But it isn't, at least it isn't happening thus far. So sometimes the best we can do for them is help them get out of it as quickly as possible. How can we get them out of that fearful place as quickly as possible? And understand too some of the ramifications. If they get really frightened, there can be consequences later on that can impact their physical uh, status. And so we'll talk a little bit too about that, how the fear can impact their digestive system in particular. But how else can weather impact our pets? Well, sometimes it can create skin issues. And skin issues can be just like us, we can get the dry skin. Our pets can get dry skin, but also from the anxiety, when we get too many emotions, they get more itchy because when we get too much of the trapped emotions, one of the ways that it tries to come out of the body, to expel that excess energy, that excess emotions. We need to get rid of those emotions. They're just chemicals our body creates to relate to experiences. And so if you can't process them out through our digestive system, through for pets, panting, peeing and pooping them out, then the largest organ of the body is skin. So then it will try and expel those excess toxins from from all those emotions out the skin, and that can create the itchy skin as well. So we want to get rid of those trapped emotions that can cause a lot of different issues. Also, sometimes they don't drink enough water, just like we tend not to drink enough water. And so that can create all sorts of issues if they aren't drinking enough water. I know that is a big issue again for the alpacas, outdoor animals. That the water, it may be defrosted, but it's too cold, and there's a number of them that they want the temperature to be above, not just above freezing, so it's liquid, but it needs to be in the 40s. So I have a heater hooked up to one of my water stations for the alpacas so that they can get a little bit warmer water. Otherwise, they just don't drink enough, and then they can get colicky. Horses, that can be a big issue. But so for our dogs and cats, if they don't drink plenty of water. One of the things I do for my dogs, especially, is I've always added water into their diet as I'm feeding with their food, because I have chow hounds. They love their meals, so they get most of their water intake that they need from their meals. So they actually don't need a lot of extra water from drinking unless it's not really hot or they do a lot of exercise. Um, they get plenty of water just in their meals. That's a little tip that I learned to do. And it also slows them down from eating their food because they just inhale without without chewing. So I add water into their food. If you've got good foodies, that is a good way to make sure that they get plenty of water, and I can monitor their water intake that way. And then we talked about storms, that can be really frightening to animals. They don't know what's going on. For the animals that have been in such extreme weather, like the hurricanes, flooding that California's been experiencing, tornadoes, things where they get displaced from their home, where they've had to evacuate or they've lost their home in some fashion, that can become extremely frightening to them. Even when they get to stay with their family, they can have PTSD kind of issues. So when they hear a storm, they can be super frightened because of the past experiences that they've been through. Just like I would be petrified too if I had a tornado take out my home or something like that. That would be, very frightening, and they don't have that same cognitive knowledge of knowing oh, it's just a storm or it's just a little wind. To them, it's, oh no, this is the world coming to an end, and it's going to upheaval my whole life and my whole world. So, and for some of the pets that do have to get rehomed, because they've lost their homes and families, then it really can create another layer of abandonment and all sorts of other issues when they experience another storm. And I do have a number of pet clients that have that issue. So we have to work on clearing those trapped emotions. And again, these tools can help pull them out of it as well. So, what does anxiety look like in our pets? And this is not just during storms, but in other times as well. One of the main behaviors they exhibit is panting. They pant very heavily. They may start pacing. They can't find. They're usually looking for a den-like place to hide. Um, so I quite often will leave the bathroom or a closet door open for my girl, and she will sometimes settle in a quiet spot like that where she feels more protected. She likes behind my chair I used to have a couch, and she liked to go behind the couch. That again, very den-like. So our pets like smaller spaces. That's an instinctual thing. They want a den, a small, not a den in a house, but a den, as in where they would be in like a cave. They want a small place with just a little opening. That's where they might feel safer. So they are pacing, looking for a safe spot. But you may hear them whine, tremble. They, their legs can start shaking. Their whole body can tremble. They might start chewing on themselves, their feet in particular, or scratch. We talked about skin issues. They could start scratching and chewing on their paws. Licking and chewing can be really excessive. They can exhibit OCD behaviors just like we do, and that is hard for them to stop. So if they have an OCD kind of behavior, we want to definitely work on changing and giving them comfort. And these tools, again, that we'll talk about in a second, can help pull them out of the OCD kind of behaviors. For dogs, they might start barking excessively, or for cats, they might be mewing more. I had a client just yesterday that had a dog that barked excessively because there was some change in the household. Dog, children moved back home, and they were not with a little one as well as an adult child, and the dog was just not sure what the heck was going on with this. They actually termed the little toddler as an alien because they weren't sure what the heck that was. Um, so they didn't see the toddler as a human really. It moved different, it sounded different, it smelled different, all sorts of things. So they termed it as an alien. So we had to work with that, but that created anxiety, and that anxiety came out as barking excessively anytime these foreigners moved or appeared out of a room. So we had to work on explaining, clearing the trapped emotions, the anxiety that created, helping reduce the confusion of what was going on, and then uh, giving it a purpose. Animals like having a purpose, especially our dogs. So giving them a role, giving them something that they can grasp on what to do. And as we talked about, that's related to the pacing, the hiding. They will look for a place to hide. And then one of the other issues you may find is the potty issues. The trapped emotions can come out as uh, accidents outside the litter box, or having an accident in the house of some sort. So those are all signs that your pet is having anxiety, and especially with the potty issue, it may not happen immediately. The potty could happen a day, 2 days, up to a week or two after the fearful event occurs. It takes time for them to process all that out, and then boom, they have an accident outside their litter box or in the house somehow. And so that's related to what happened a week or two earlier or a couple days earlier. They may throw up. That's another one that isn't a sign. A couple days, again, it could be 24, 48 hours later that they may throw up. And the reason for that is because in the fear state, and when they go into the fight or flight response system, the digestive system gets turned down, and that's true for all of us. It isn't just true for our pets. That is true for us humans as well. So when we are triggered, when we go into that anxiety place, the our we're- all the energy goes to running, fighting, or freezing to survive. And so we don't need to digest our food if we're trying to save ourselves. So all the energy goes to the fight or flight response system, and the digestive system gets turned way down. So again, that adrenaline can take 24 to 48 hours generally to process out once the stressful situation has stopped. If it's ongoing, that means that digestive system isn't turned on. And so then they have a harder time processing their food. And then that can create digestive issues. So the pooping, the peeing, the throwing up, that can become a big issue. It can lead to the skin issues because, again, they can't fully digest their food. Their body is working the liver, all your filters, the kidneys, everything's trying to process out the food that it can't digest properly. And again, the largest organ of the body is working to help eliminate the stuff, the calories, the food, the nutrients that couldn't fully absorb into the body. And so it'll come out the skins, which can create the skin issues. So the first sign, one of the things that we definitely want to work on if you have pets that have these issues is to work on their digestive system. So, so clearing the trapped emotions is really important. We want to get rid of those trapped emotions. They get into it again. Emotions are just chemicals our body creates to express an emotion, an experience we're having, and the fear-based emotions are much more slow moving, and they're easier to get stuck in the body. So we want to get rid of those. We store our issues in our tissues, and it doesn't matter if it's a two-legger or a four-legger or a winged or whatever the species. It works exactly the same way. It's just that animals have not as broad a vocabulary as an adult human, but they still have emotions and they can have really strong emotions. So we want to definitely get rid of those trapped emotions, and that can help tremendously with any of these issues. So we talked about the tips. So here are your tips. The first thing you want to do is get yourself calm because our pets can totally read what our emotional state is. So we want to breathe because that will lower our heart rate, our blood pressure goes down, we get calmer. We want to breathe. That will help get you calm so you're not stressed out because we tend to, becomes a negative feedback loop really quickly because we see our pet anxious and then we get anxious about them being anxious. And then they go, see, there is something to worry about because you're anxious. I can tell you're not breathing and your heart rate is way up. So you're scared too. So I'm not believing you when you say this, it's okay. That's a lie because your body's telling me otherwise. So by breathing and calming ourselves down, that will tell them it's okay, it's safe. So we want to breathe fully and slowly. And then our words actually matter. Uh, again, I don't, I choose not to use the words, don't be afraid, because then they don't hear the don't, they just say it's afraid. There is too something to be afraid of. You just said it. I like to use words like peace and calm. When they're really afraid, I use peace and calm. Which is calm. It's cool. Just relax. We want to use the words of the behavior we really want to see happen. So peace and calm. It's a very high frequency. So as I'm breathing, so as you're breathing, and you think of what makes you feel peaceful and at calm, and that calmer state, guess what? Your master chef in your brain is our words, manner, and our emotions are just chemicals that are created in our body. So this master chef in our brain goes, I know what peace and calm mean. And it starts pouring those chemicals into our body. And then we start acting like a little radar. And we transmit out that frequency, that energy that our pets can now sense. They're really good at it. They're way better than us at sensing those frequencies. And so when we're transmitting out peace and calm, they go, oh, that feels much better than that anxious stuff. And so they quite often will settle down and feel that energy. That's one thing our pets are really quite better at it than us, is that if it feels better, that's what they choose to go to. Excuse me. So breathe slowly, breathe fully, think peace and calm, and then just kind of just be with them in the moment. The other thing you can do is a very light touch. Instead of a massaging pet, a deeper petting you can do that we typically do with our animals. You kind of get in there and really massage their body and maybe go a little faster, especially when they're anxious. We think if we go faster, it gets in faster. I actually want to do a really light touch and do it slower. that moves the cells around versus the massaging. Actually, when we pet them faster and maybe in more massaging fashion, it can actually trigger more of the fight or flight response system. It can be more exciting, and that's not what we want. We want it to be calming. The other area to really work, if your animals like their ears massaged, work the ears. It's very calming. The ears have all the acupressure points in the ears, so work all around and in the ears. Just again, real soft and real gentle and real slow movements in the ears. It really can trigger their calming system, and that's what we want. We want to trigger their calming system. Those are just some really simple things that you can do for your pet. And there's some others. So if you need some help and get some tailored tips on what to do for your pet, as well as get rid of those trapped emotions, because that's really number one of importance is get rid of those emotions. So if I've worked with you before, then the quick cleanse package is the one you want. You'll get some 15-minute sessions, and we'll clear the trapped emotions, communicate with your pets, and work with you in modifying the behavior. And again, giving you some more tips and tools and other referral information on what you can do for your pet. So some future stuff. This Saturday, we're going to have our healing circle at our normal noon Pacific time. And again, we'll have a healing circle right after this webinar. So all of you can stay on if you wish. And then next Wednesday is another, just the healing circle, no webinar. The next webinar is in 2 weeks, January 25th. It's already coming. Can't think about the end of the month already. And then another healing circle at the end of the month. And I encourage you to keep an eye on your inbox around January 21st. There'll be some special emails and special deals coming out on around that time. And also, if you're interested in learning how to communicate with animals, I'm teaching an introduction to animal communication class January 19th, and it's hosted by Jen Weigel. I'll send you information about it in the follow-up email, and I'll also get it put up on my website. I haven't done that yet, but I'll work on getting that up tomorrow. But it's a really fun class. It's on Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you're located. We begin working by teaching you, my alpacas start teaching you how to learn the basic techniques and how you communicate with animals. And then you share your pet pictures and we learn to communicate with your animals. So we get that all done. It's a 2-hour class and it'll be, let's see, 3 o'clock Pacific time. So wherever you are located, add whatever time zone to that. And that is Thursday, January 19th. So look for that in your inbox because we'll give you more information on that. I think I put it out yesterday in the newsletter, but I'll make sure you get more information on it. And we do keep the class very small. They sell out quickly, so do if you are interested, check it out quickly because we keep the class size small, so there's plenty of time to work with everybody. All righty, with that. Let me stop share. Did anybody send me a picture? Let me see if I got of their pets.
I did.
You did. I did not get it. Let me check. Sometimes it goes to a spam folder, so let me check real fast. Let me check super fast here. As fast as I can. I did not get it. Let me try one other place, see if it didn't go. Oh, there it is. I found it. Too many places. Oh, cutie pies. Is there one that you prefer?
One of the dogs.
One of the
I guess.
dogs.
Yes.
Okay. I'll take the first one that I got here. All right. I gotta. What's this one's name?
Darby.
Darby. Okay. Is there something going on with Darby?
I feel like perhaps. I don't know what it is. She's an old lady
Okay.
and yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. Well, let's just see. Again, I don't diagnose, but I can tell where there's energy blocks and we can definitely clear some trapped emotions and stuff. And with older animals, they can just get arthritis-y and achy. That's normal. And so we can help with their discomfort level. At this stage, that is usually what we work on. It's not always able to quote unquote fix the issue, but it's just more giving them palatable care. We want to get them as comfortable as possible and let them enjoy what life like we can give them. So let me just kind of I'm an empath, so I feel things in my body. So I'm scanning Darby right now to see where I feel things. Oh yeah, neck hurts, left shoulder. Does Darby drink a lot of water?
Yes.
Like an excessive amount?
Sometimes I wonder, sometimes I think it might be, but
Because I got a hit on the kidney area. So we'll work on clearing some of the kidneys. That's why I asked. Felt like the kidneys were working kind of not operating at their optimum rate. It's sometimes hard for me to tell if it's one kidney or the other, because if one kidney isn't working well, then the other one is working harder. And so
mm,
I can't quite tell if one or both are not working optimally. Um, I feel more discomfort on the left side. I'll just put that out there. So if you do go to a vet at any time, that would be, I might want to do some sort of a test to see how their kidneys, if there's a easy blood test or something to find out what the kidneys are doing. Uh, but I'll clear it in the meantime. So let's, is that where we start? No, okay, where do you want to start, Darby? Okay, she just wants some general clearings to start with. Helplessness, clearing that. Again, the neck is really tight. Is there a doggy chiropractor near you by any chance?
I've never looked into it, but I'm sure there probably is.
Okay, if there is, and it's something you might want to try, is that can help a lot of times with these older guys. They can get adjusted and it just feels good, especially since the neck is really, it's really tight. Um, some frustration clearing that. Discouragement. When their body just doesn't want to work right, they can have these emotions. A little better in the neck. Okay. Now let's. So now she's gonna let me do her kidneys. So this will take a second while I clear those kidneys. So I'm clearing the left kidney first. There's a nice shift. And now I'm feeling it more on the right. The left one feels better, but the right side has discomfort. Oh, let me finish the kidney stars. Let me finish one thing at a time here. She gave me something else to look at. Okay, okay, is that better? Okay, yeah, vision in the right eye. Is there challenges?
when I look at her eyes, it looks like perhaps she's getting cataracts. Both of them look like they have some haziness.
Okay. Um, that is not something that I can necessarily help too much with, other than the eyes can get trapped emotions. So I can definitely release some trapped emotions, but it won't necessarily uh, help with the cataracts. So I think it can create some confusion at time because she just can't see as good. Mm. And I think there's some hearing loss as well.
Yes.
Uh, so that adds to the confusion and defensiveness because things surprise her more because she doesn't hear.
When she hears it, yes, she startles.
Yeah. So, and that can create a little anxiety. A little discomfort though in that right eye. Hmm. I'm going to yawn, and it's not because I'm tired, it's a clearing. That's just a sign that I cleared something out of her system. Oh, there we go. Oh, good, 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 good. So now I'm just going to ask if she has anything she wants to share. She's very good about helping me work with her. Anything to tell mom? She thinks you're funny.
Hmm.
Is there something in particular that's funny? Do you dance?
No.
Something with your movement.
Hmm.
What you show me what's funny? You may not realize it, maybe. Like
Maybe.
when you're cooking or something, do you kind of listening to music or anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Or tapping your feet? I don't know. She just sees something in your movement that she just thinks is kind of entertaining.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. It's not any clearer. She's not sending me any pictures. Anyway, sometimes it comes through and sometimes it could be just one single thing that happened uh, that you don't even realize. You could have dropped something or whatever, but or done a little hippity hop over something and she happened to see it. It could have been a single event, not a normal thing. And it, you didn't even think of anything about it. It happened once before, where an alpaca thought the person was funny, and it was because they dropped the hose and they sprayed themselves. They totally forgot that it happened, but the alpaca was standing there and saw it happen, and she just thought that was just hilarious. So, like you said, stuff that you don't think that they notice, and they do. Yeah. So, any questions with what I cleared for her?
I am moving abroad in about late summer,
Mhm.
and is she going to be up for this move?
I don't know. Um, when it's a little too far off in the
Mm,
future.
okay.
Uh, I don't know. It.
Okay.
I would reach out to me a little closer to
Okay.
when it is, because it is harder on these older guys, and it depends on how you get them to the place too. But at the
Hmm.
same time, she doesn't want to be not with you. So,
Right.
but a lot of things can happen between now and then with some of
Hmm.
her health issues. That those kidneys are a little concerned. So I would definitely talk to a vet or somebody about that. That was a little discon.
Okay.
That it's a concern.
Okay.
Something might beyond just energy work might be needed to be addressed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything that they'd like help with? Anybody else send a picture? Nope. Let me check. Where I found that one. Anybody send anything? Nope, I don't see anything. Alrighty, last chance. Anybody have any questions or want me to work on anybody? Going once, twice? All right, and I'm gonna stop the